What's she like? I don't know. She's talking about her. So, Jane. Anyway.
Solid Waste Council is Gail going to be here when that's on for the committee?
As far as I know.
She had raised a question about those two that used to be in the Solid Waste Council, and then Melinda was concerned about it and had them moved to unofficial or ex-official.
Ex-officio.
And they don't want to come to the meeting if they don't have any
Authority.
and yet we need the haulers at the table.
Do you want that added to the regular to expand by one, or do you want to make a recommendation on that today?
Well, we've got the Solid Waste Council selected Bob Newell,
Right,
but they also wanted to make those two.
which means they need an expansion by one, which requires your approval. We'll go over that. That's part of
Okay.
what we'll go over as a group.
Start on.
So technically, it's another meeting,
It's another meeting.
another meeting.
You're stealing all your time today.
Yeah, I'll hear about it. Oh, my wife, I said, I'll hear about that.
I only have one commissioner.
Our eyes are locked.
Yeah, that's true. The guy that represents me.
The rest of us were eavesdropping.
It's all about you, Ed.
It is all about me.
Well, good point. You know.
I'm important.
Somebody just bought mine.
Let's meet. I'm out of sandwich.
And I want that big land property.
Not like we can't.
I want that big land property.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could retire and put a bench there, sit and look at the lake.
I wonder if there, I'll bet you that there's a nice view on that property.
Oh, there's a beautiful view. We were just talking about, it. You could do a nice. Sure. Going forward.
Plus you got access to the lake.
Yeah, right across the street.
Sure. And up there you could, I mean, even if you just use it as a park, you could use it, put a little walking trail and put a bench up there and.
That's what I was
see
thinking.
everything. Well,
Yeah, it's his.
Inspiration point.
Did Gwen leave for the day?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, okay, I wasn't aware.
Well, before we
I'll
end
make
on
my
that,
note.
we're gonna have a conflict of interest policy in place.
Yeah, that's right. You won't be able to bid
I
on
won't be able to vote on it, but
it. Yeah.
I got high bid.
Okay, I'm ready when you are then. I thought
Just
we were
all
waiting
vote
for her.
against it then.
That could be.
Might well happen.
Alright, you ready? All right, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll forgo the pledge and all the sounds. We just add that, go with the roll call.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Commissioner Bunnick.
Present.
Commissioner Wessel.
Here.
Commissioner Campbell.
Here, yes, and present.
Commissioner Alguier is absent. Chairman Yoder.
Here. All right, next up, public comment. Lauren?
Come on. Pressure's on.
All right, moving on to the purpose of the meeting, which is our appointments. I'm trying to figure out how, those of you that have been on here, what's the process been like? Do we in each make an appointment individually, then do one mass motion, or how has it been done?
Well, why don't I tell you how I built the packet,
Okay.
and that might help kind of guide the conversation a little bit.
Where-
So I do have one extra copy that the staples got a little messed up. If somebody wants a paper, it should be on your, you should have one right there.
Oh, yep, right, on your left.
My other left?
Left, farther left, farther left. So you got your packet there, that's right.
Would you like a hard copy?
It's huge.
Okay, you'll have to forgive the
It's got my
wonky,
name on it.
the wonky staples.
Oh, you couldn't read your own name.
Might have one.
Okay, so like we do every year, there are some terms from boards and commissions that are expiring. There are several individuals who wish to seek reappointment and are eligible for reappointment, and several who do not wish to seek reappointment, leaving vacancies on these boards and commissions. So how I built this year is at the front of your packet, you have the descriptions of all of the boards and commissions, even ones that don't have vacancies, just if you hadn't read that recently, just to refamiliarize yourself with all of the boards and commissions that are under the umbrella of Leelanau County, or that we provide representatives to. So moving on from that, it also tells you how many appointments we provide to these boards and commissions, how many citizens, how many commissioners, and the lengths of the terms.
Nice.
Starting on page 7, this is kind of the worksheet that I work on throughout the year that gets updated if there's retirements or unexpected vacancies. This is a living document that gets updated regularly, but it is highlighted based on the types of vacancies that you will be discussing and making recommendations for today. There is a nice little color-coded key at the very end if you're curious why some are in green and some are in blue.
Lauren, in our packet, it's 2 pages longer. When you say page 7, it's actually page 9.
Yeah, so I did the page numbers. I did not start if you look at the top right of your document, the
Right,
red
that's what the
letter,
7 is, yeah.
that is
But I'm-
the number that I'll be referring to,
Okay.
not the one that, because I did not number the cover page or the table of contents for your reference. So if the red number 7 on the top is the working document that you'll be making recommendations for. Moving on from that is starting on page 13, red number 13 on the top, is a list of commissions by mandated versus non-mandated. So we are by statute required to provide representation on certain boards and commissions. Yeah. Oh, no question. Okay. So this gives a little bit more detail on the total number of representatives from other entities or counties. If you hadn't had a chance to read that. And it looks like my per diem sheet got a little upside down. So this long guy shows you which ones provide per diem, the amounts of per diem, and who pays the per diem. And again, that doesn't get revised often. I think we revised that once in the last 18 months. So this is pretty static and gives a good reference on which boards and commissions provide per diem. And now we're in the meat of it. So starting at page 15, were there any questions about the kind of meat part of that front part of the packet? Do you want to just go page by page with the vacancies? How would you like to proceed?
Page by page.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
front to back.
So I did advertise and post on the website the vacancies that we had, and I had asked, I'd reached out to each board, commission, and committee who had expiring terms to try and determine ahead of time as much information as I could. Everybody did get back to me. There were a few that just weren't able or didn't have people to backfill. So there will be several that I'll need to rely on your next steps. What do we do? But for the most part, everyone has a really good idea of who is interested in reappointment and making recommendations or activating their own networks to provide applicants. And I would like to say thank you to you too. I got several applications on recommendations of commissioners. So the first vacancy on page 15 is the Benzie-Leelanau District Environmental Health Board of Appeals. It's one term expiring, and they do not have someone to backfill, and I did not receive an application. So this is our first sort of sticky one.
Is Bud willing to continue to serve?
I have not. I've reached out to him several times. Eric had reached out to him as well.
He has to, sorry. You either gotta find your replacement or you're,
So due to lack of being able to reach him, and he's on another board as well, his name will come up again, but he has not responded to several inquiries on whether or not he would be willing to serve again.
What's the consensus? Reappointing?
we want to have a,
Advertise?
But there's no one else.
There's no other applications.
I haven't received an application. I can keep trying to reach him and come back to you.
yeah, we'll have a choice on that one.
Well, you.
Well, it looks like either reappoint or leave it
Ah.
vacant. Like,
They have to.
I can get a hold of my number.
Suggest we pass that one on and try
leave
to
it
fill that
vacant
in
for
January.
now. Okay.
Okay, so the next page is for the Construction Board of Appeals. Robert Miller in the architect category, his term is expiring and he has requested reappointment. So I did draft motions. I don't know if you are making motions in this stage or just, yes, making the
So
motions.
It's a recommendation, so it's a motion and a
I
second.
move the recommendation reappointment of Robert Miller, Construction Board of Appeals for a 5-year term. ending 31 December 22. That we were, yeah.
All right, so moved and supported. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Carried 6-0.
Who was the second on that one? Rick?
Wessel.
Commissioner
Oh,
Wessel.
Russell, sorry. We're moving real fast. Okay,
Well, this is mine.
I know you're. going too
So
fast.
another document that's included in your packet that you'll see on page 17, I have a huge master spreadsheet of every application or every term going back almost 20 years, which you can see who has served, the number of reappointments, and if they needed to take a gap term to be reappointed to the board. So that is the longer ones that are included on the back end. So this is one that I don't know that you want to take action on today, but it was on my in my tickler file to bring it up, and that's the Housing Action Committee on page 19 of your packet. It had been discussed in July and August of this year to kind of determine the path forward for the Housing Action Committee. What does that look like? Do we maintain it? Do we dissolve it? And I didn't want to let it go completely off the radar and figured it would be a good opportunity to just kind of bring it back up into discussion today.
Well, my suggestion is that work is now being done by the Housing Collaborative, which is a group of a real estate guy on there, a couple of real estate, Housing North and Economic Development Foundation and the Sleeping Bear Dunes Group. And I believe that is assuming responsibility for what the Housing Action Committee did. And it would be redundant to have both groups meet, and I think it'd be better for us to support that group.
Wow.
I would make a motion that we recommend dissolving the Housing Action Committee. Can we do that here?
Yeah.
Can we? I mean, it wasn't part of.
I would support that.
But at least it moves it off the table.
Okay, so Commissioner Campbell motion to
So
dissolve. Okay.
All right.
Second.
And I'm going to vote for that, but I think it's kind of misleading because we're not saying that the work of the Housing Action Committee shouldn't be a focus. But we don't need that group to do it.
Right. That's the message that needs to get out. Discussion? Not all in favor, then motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. 6-0.
Land Bank Fast Track Authority, there is one term expiring. Dan Hines does not seek to be reappointed to the Land Bank. We did receive several applications for this vacancy, and they're all included for your consideration. And I did list them by page number at the bottom of this sheet, along with a sample motion.
Mr. Wassel?
Josh Behrman is the younger gentleman that's introduced himself to us on occasion. He's 20-some years old. It's kind of nice to see some youth. I think he would be a viable one. Also, Sharon Oriole has been working on the housing collaborative for quite some time, and I would recommend her as a solid one as well. But if you want a motion, I would move that we appoint Josh Barrett.
second,
Support, discussion?
yeah, I guess I was looking at Jim White. I think that he's here all the time. He comes, and I think that it would be good to, and he's always talking about the land bank, so he seems to be involved in it, so I would support him. What's that? Is that, yeah, he's on the last one on page 39.
Oh,
Josh is the only one that reached out to me. And I've gotten to know Josh just being here. He's a little older than his 20s, but
Everybody looks younger to me. Even our administrator.
But I don't have a problem with him. I noticed for Jim White, he mentioned on his application that he doesn't really have any knowledge of land bank. So I know Josh is a realtor, so I'd take that as quite a good amount of knowledge. So I have no problem with Josh. Any other discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Hey,
Carried 4-2.
So for clarification, if I can ask Jen, does this go, if it's not unanimous, do we discuss it again at the regular?
So it wouldn't be on consent.
Okay, thank you.
Now,
Well,
we only have one vacancy.
gotta double check with Michelle.
There's only one vacancy on the land bank.
We may just put it down as a total and then list them all as action item too. So I'll double check for the agenda. on
We
that.
can figure that out,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
I would say you could do all the ones that are 7-0 or 6-0,
6-0, yeah.
and then the ones that are separate, you do separate.
Mhm.
We'll double check for the agenda, but I think that's.
Yeah.
what we-
Rather than having to go through them all again.
Mhm.
But if you're 6-0, that's not.
Still counts.
Yeah, it's unanimous because we're all here.
You just voted on my per diem, you didn't, you have 6-0 and you voted.
Yeah, there were 7 of us here.
Oh, all right, okay, all right. Since I didn't vote. then.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll double check on that, right? I'll double check.
If you move forward to page 42 in your packet, we're moving on to the Leland Dam Authority. This one again got quite a bit of interest and activity. Richard Thompson has expressed a desire for reappointment and he is eligible. Drew Warner no longer qualified for the riparian category, so he was not eligible for a reappointment. We did receive 3 applications, all from riparian owners who would be interested in consideration for the Leland Dam Authority. So there will be 2 motions, one for the reappointment of Mr. Thompson and one for your recommendation of appointment.
I move to recommend the reappointment of Richard Thompson to the Leland Dam Authority in the engineer category for a 3-year term expiring December 31, 2028.
Support.
All right, discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Carried 6-0.
I would move to recommend to appoint Jim Coverstad to the Leland Dam Authority in the riparian category for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2028.
Order discussion?
He has talked to me about it. He would like to be on.
I'd also heard good things about Dawn One. I had 2. She's got quite a resume. She provided.
I'll move to nominate Don. You would wait a
No,
minute.
we gotta finish this
We
motion.
have to vote on the first one.
She's adding up here.
Well, I would echo on Don, and Don was active in the Lake Association and worked with the Board of Commissioners a couple of years ago while we were dealing with some issues, and she was a very sharp person.
I gotta say, we're very lucky, we're very lucky to have 3 candidates for this. I'm not quite sure what the attraction is, having sat on the Leland Dam Authority, but we are lucky, because Jim, you know, he speaks his mind, and I appreciate his views. And Dawn, like I said, I've had a couple people in the community who have really, and I didn't really understand that until I looked at her resume, because I just thought, oh, maybe a passive interest, and she's a good person, but she brings more than that to the board, so we're lucky to have 2 very good candidates.
Yeah, I did read through all that too, and I do remember, I couldn't remember the names, but I do remember at least 1 or 2 of those had very good resumes. My just experience and stuff, that they would very much qualify for that. So. Any other discussion? Not, all in favor of the original motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Yeah.
Fails 1 to 5.
All right, now you can nominate.
I move to nominate Don Lund.
All right, supported, discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Carried 5-1. appointments.
55, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. This is DHHS. Terrence Mulvihill does not seek to be reappointed. And this is one that I have not received any applications on and would like your guidance on how to move forward.
I believe it's critical we get somebody on there, and I would suggest we do the same thing we did to the other one and put it off till January, and all of us reach out to find somebody interested in human services.
All right. Moving on. Regional airport.
Yes, so I heard from Steve Patmore, he would be interested in reappointment. So if you remember, this is a newer board. This is the zoning board, which is separate from the NRAA board. And this was established a year ago with the original terms being 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And following the expiration of the 1 year term, it would convert to a 3 year term. And that was designed that way so that the terms would always be staggered. So Steve was our lucky number one with a 1 year term, but he would like to be reappointed. He told me yesterday that he has been enjoying the meetings and would like to be reappointed.
I move to recommend the reappointment of Steve Patmore to Northwest Regional Airport Authority zoning board for a 3-year term expiring December 2028.
All right, support discussion. Favor that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Carried 6-0.
Okay, planning commission might be a bit more complicated. So Brian Fenlon and Tom Nixon both would like to be reappointed. There's a letter in your packet from Mr. Nixon because he has served 3 consecutive terms on the planning commission, which per policy would require him to take a gap term before coming back. But he has submitted a letter for consideration indicating his desire to continue to serve in the municipal government category. So he is asking for an exception to that gap term, which is your prerogative. The 2 remaining vacancies at the October meeting, and the minutes are enclosed for your review. Stephen Riddell was nominated by the Planning Commission for the business category. 1 application has been received for the remaining category, which is tourism, and is enclosed for your consideration. So this will require at least 2 motions.
The only person is that Christopher.
That was the only
That's
one
available?
that I received.
Okay.
Mhm. And I don't know if if you have to, I don't think you have to refer him back to the planning commission for their approval. They did move Mr. Riddell forward.
No, I do sit on that commission there. And to speak to Tom Nixon there, he has served 3 straight terms. Past precedent, as this letter states, this board has approved for somebody to stay on there longer if we didn't have any applications. But I would say Mr. Nixon is one of the most valuable resources there on that planning commission, just as wealth of knowledge and expertise, and very well spoken of. I would urge that we would consider extending that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but not just that, we don't have another candidate to take his place anyway, so,
Right.
I mean, normally, if we don't have another candidate, then we put him on, even if it's, I mean, I know we did that, with the Solid Waste Council. Some people were there forever,
Right.
Yeah.
so if we don't have a candidate that can take that place, then we can.
And maybe this would be a question for you, as far as the categories, how do you determine, like, if this one applicant satisfies the tourism category? What are there certain guidelines or criteria?
Generally, they would note that on their application.
Mhm.
I looked at his application, he didn't note anything, so. And the reason I actually reached out to him, he's from Casson Township, and the Casson Township Board, he was an applicant to go on their Township Planning Commission, but they had numerous applications, so he didn't, so I reached out to him and said, hey, there's a vacancy on the county, love to have you if you can, and so he submitted an application. I know his past experience as a firefighter, I believe.
And he
lives in
currently
Tourist,
serves on Brownfield.
Right. And Brownfield.
Mhm.
Oh, he does serve on this.
Yeah.
Where's Morgan? So it's kind of up to everybody here, I guess, because I don't think he has a past experience in tourism, but I could be wrong. But I know he's a firefighter or a retired firefighter.
I think it's important that we respect those categories. I think we have to. And we ought to wait for an opportunity that he qualifies for.
What? Who's not a tourist? I want to know. Anyway, I'll move to recommend that the reappointment of Brian Fenlon and Tom Nixon to the Planning Commission in the agricultural and municipal government categories for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2028.
Or
Support discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Hey,
Carries 5-1.
none of the two applicants, I really do believe in that policy that you need to rotate people out.
Let's,
Well, we've got a few that we need to perhaps advertise for again, and that folks know that there's no one else in line in front of them that may give them an opportunity to go.
Money?
I move to recommend that the appointment of Steve Riddell to the Planning Commission in the business category and Christopher Logan in the tourism category for 3 years terms expiring December 31st, 2028.
Support discussion.
So did I vote no on the wrong one? Fenlon was the one that's already been there 3 years, right?
No, Nixon.
Oh, Nixon, right.
Yeah, you were right.
Okay, okay.
accident.
Yeah, you were wrong, but you were right.
It was an accident, you were right, but don't worry about it. We'll cover for it.
All right, Russell.
I just want to raise a question. I mean, we're all tourists, but there is a reason that tourism specialists are supposed to be on planning commission, and we are a tourism county. And I think we ought to not fill it with somebody that doesn't represent that broad category. And we can look, if we can't find anybody, then we can fill that in January.
I'd also add those categories are required by statute. But there are potentially other, it lists a broad number of categories, some of which we don't use, that might, if you're having trouble filling, you don't have to have tourism. It could be from one of the other categories. So we can look at that if you're not able to fill it.
Discussion.
I'd like to divide the question for you.
I should have said that before.
Okay.
So
There's another-
The first one first, the first name first.
Steve.
All right.
First motion is
So
we'll take Chris Logan off and just do Steve Riddell.
yes.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Carries 6-0.
Now we would do for Christopher Logan.
For that, or
Well, there is
It's
the
the
motion
same.
on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're
Same
just
motion,
voting
we
it.
just
Yep.
are voting on it
wasn't
twice.
thinking. All right, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 5.
Is that because one was references to Steve Yoder?
No.
solely because
Time.
2000, nice.
Okay. So if we move on to page 71, this is another one that the Board of Commissioners might want to move into January or have further discussions on what this looks like. Soil erosion, sedimentation, and stormwater runoff control ordinance Board of Appeals. it's my understanding after talking with the Conservation District that they have not actually ever met. They have not had an appeal move all the way through requiring a meeting of the Board of Appeals. So they do have 2 expiring terms. Mr. Ishberding has taken a step back from all. We know that. And again, I was not able to reach Mr. Welch, but that does leave 2 vacancies on this Board of Appeals that's run by the Conservation District.
Does it, I mean, this might be a stupid question. Does it need to be a 5-member board?
That's something that I don't know. That would be a question I could ask Jake and come back to you on how large their board has to be.
It's just that they've never met. I don't know. Is that a requirement? It's fine. You know, maybe, I don't know.
Mhm.
That'd be my own thought. Otherwise, advertise it.
I'm assuming Eric Lind would be off as well.
Yeah. Is he gonna be? He's not
I don't
doing
think
well
he's-
at all.
no. I think
Oh,
you'll want
Mr. Lind as
yeah.
well.
I believe
Okay.
he's hospitalized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Check with Michelle.
And usually, someone on a board like this that never meets or almost never meets,
Mhm.
we allow them to be on more than one board then. Even though, I mean, just because it's they fill the position, but it's. not
Right,
gonna
and this
happen.
is one of those examples. Kathy Dawkins also serves on Parks and Recreation.
Yeah. So,
Can commissioners serve on this?
That is a very good question. I think it's, let me look, I think
I'd love
it's
to get on
typically
the board
been
with
citizen.
I'm sure we
Do you
can.
want to get on another one?
I'd love to be on that board with you.
There we go, we got it filled.
You can get more than they bargained for.
Now watch, there'll be like 5 meetings next year.
Yeah. Upsetting.
Yeah, bad head.
So the sheet that I work off of says it's 5 citizen members, but that would be, I'm sure it could be your prerogative if you would like to sit on soil
Well, they're
erosion.
citizens also.
Yeah,
Huh?
They're also citizens.
we are citizens.
Yes, you are.
That would probably require a little bit of research to determine if you may, because there are certain boards that you can't sit on because you've actually, it would be a conflict of interest, because you would be appealing a decision. And my guess is, if you're gonna get appeals, you may likely get appeals regarding the fees that are being charged, which you are subject to. Those fees, so you probably would have a conflict on that board in all seriousness, but we'd have to do a little research.
He was just joking.
I don't want the thing to die. So we're not having enough
That
folks.
was pretty serious there.
Try to move it along.
So the plan is to reach out to people and I'll come back to you in January.
No,
Okay.
it's the same process on that.
Okay. So Solid Waste Council is the next one, starting on page 73. This has the most color of any page that we've worked through. There are 3 seeking reappointment. So that's the first motion there in bold for Mark Bebelheimer, Marcia Harris, and James Palmer for a 2-year term. There's one issue that requires your recommendation and approval, and that is that the Solid Waste Council would like to expand its membership by 1 for a total of 10 voting members, which requires your recommendation and approval. That is in order to ensure that their current ex officio non-voting members, Bebelheimer and Palmer, can become voting members.
Isn't the, what is it, the MMRP or?
MMP.
Yeah,
Yeah, isn't that gonna take the place of this?
Yes, so that was kind of the end of my my write-up is that they did make one recommendation for Robert Newell to serve on the Solid Waste Council. And if you agree with the recommendation of Newell, the expansion of the membership to 10 voting members, it leaves 2 vacancies on the Solid Waste Council, and we currently don't have any applications. In discussions that I've had with the planning department and with Administrator Dyer, the thought is that because when the MMP is adopted, that will assume the role that Solid Waste Council has been performing. And there is not a sense of urgency to fill those 2 vacancies.
I can speak to it as a solid waste council member. The reason they were interested in Mark and Jim being converted from ex officio to regular members is they're having a hard time justifying coming to the meeting if they don't have input in the decisions. And they represent the waste hauler group and the landfill.
Yeah, and the Part 115, it defines solid waste councils. It's in transition now because again, we're going to be a part of a 3-county, planning group. But the statute specifically says that representatives of industry do not have to be residents. They, as long as they're providing services in the county that they're being to the board they're being appointed to. That's what the state statute says. Your board rules talk about commission, and when you appoint to commission, they need to be residents of the county. So if you're going to change that, the aspect of their status as an ex officio member, I think you'd have to do that first. You'd have to waive that board rule because it's permitted by statute, and then do the appointment, if that's what you choose, if that's what you're going to choose to do. And I think you would also be permitted, again, if you choose, to have a county committee that would be involved in solid waste management. That would, it wouldn't substitute for, but it would supplement what the regional committee is going to do.
And the regional committee is a year and a half away from finalizing. So I think at that time, you'll look at a duplication, but I think it's premature.
Yeah, I mean, could we waive that and appoint these, in the 2 positions that are going to be empty, waive the residency requirement?
Because it's permitted by state statute, I believe that you could, and they're your board rules. You're permitted to amend those, waive them, do whatever is necessary if you choose. But you need to do that explicitly.
Yeah.
So first, a motion to waive that. Second, a motion to appoint them to full membership, not as ex officio members.
And I would move we waive the residency requirement on the Solid Waste Council. That'd be the only one, right? We only want to do that on.
Right.
At per committee.
Supported. Discussion.
I guess my little mind doesn't keep up on why we're gonna have 1 vacancy, but we're gonna enlarge it. So a couple of folks can actually vote. Is that?
It has to do with the size of the council, is my understanding, is they needed additional voting members in order to umbrella, I guess, Bevelheimer and Palmer.
So what we're doing, changing 2 members from non-voting to voting?
But this motion isn't about that,
Okay.
so.
Well, it's about it, but it doesn't accomplish it. It's a prerequisite to doing
That would be a different motion.
You guys all good with this?
Yeah. Well, it's
Well, we'll find out, we'll vote on it, we'll see what
We'll
happens.
find out what happens.
Just call the question.
The chair calls.
Okay, how you want it,
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Carried 6-0.
I want to make sure I got that right, though. So the motion is to set aside board rules and to waive the residency requirement, right?
For the
Solid-
For
Solid Waste
Okay,
Council.
I just want to make sure I had it right.
Only solid waste.
Yep.
There are a couple other boards that have similar, for example, the Planning Act does permit you to appoint up to, depending on the number of members. I believe it's up to 2 members that are non-residents, if they fit one of the criteria. But you don't need to do that this time.
All right. Mr. Wessel?
I move to recommend the appointment of Robert Newell to the Solid Waste Council for a 2-year term expiring December 31, 2027.
Support, discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Carried 6-0.
I move to recommend the appointment of Mark Bellmeyer, Marcia Harris, and James Palmer to the Solid Waste Council for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Support, discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 6-0.
I don't think we need to expand it to 10 if we've done that myself. I don't understand.
I couldn't understand why we're expanding it if we got vacancies. That didn't make any sense.
Right.
I'd love to hear that from you.
I think that was the strategy available to the Solid Waste Council. Is that correct?
Yeah, because Jim and the other one were not counted as the number for the solid.
But now they are.
Now they're counted.
Oh, okay, so now it doesn't need to be.
So if that satisfies the requirements for them to become voting members, then I believe that is sufficient.
John Fletcher does he want to, if he can vote, be on it? I mean, we've got a note there about John Fletcher resigned as a non-voting member.
John, I think, is moved. Yeah, he moved
Okay.
down there.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll just
he
say
had
that.
resigned.
okay.
Mhm.
Tell him he can come back. We got the.
Okay.
If not, we'll expand it.
That's it. We did it.
Wow.
It's only 2 o'clock.
I know, we cruised right through. Did that format work okay for you?
Sure.
Kind of go through it?
With you running it, it did.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's go on our own. On our own, instead of talking about
You
it.
gotta follow those pages? No.
There's a lot of work, I can tell. Yeah, this chapter.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for doing that.
A lot of complaining.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, public comment? Commissioner comments? Adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Not yet.
Thank you.
Why don't you?
Oh, we gotta get to
16th.
On 16th, oh yeah. that's
You
right.
gotta come back next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Which part?
I know.
20,
Yeah.
couple days before Christmas, the party is. I don't know. Tuesday before.
I
That's a
think,
long
yeah.
way away, my world.
I would suggest.
I think it's on the 23rd, so I think it might be a thing.
Yeah, we'll find out.